Hello, how's it going? I finally got a little bit of time here. I checked, it's been about a month since I reviewed the first part of Wraith of God, 2 Bloodhunters. And now I've got a little bit of time that I figured I would quickly review the rest of the book. So the part one is, I put the link to that in the description below. And that's where I reviewed the first part, the Wraith of God story in here. And it's been a while since I did finish reading the whole story, then the rest of the stories, and it's been a while, so I have to kind of refresh my memory a little bit. But I will go over the rest of them now real quick. That's my plan. And so I will start saying there are a few other stories in here, and it's pretty neat what Aaron did. He has like the several different, I'll say, franchises going on, different storylines, different featured characters, and he put a little bit of each of them. He may have more in this book along with the main story. So there, I think I'll kind of go through them quick and then share more about it afterwards. The second story is the nightclub, which is Aaron's kind of his like superhero team. In it, now there are spoilers as indicated by the banner. It introduces a new character, this anthropomorphic elephant character. I forget his name, and it's kind of funny that it has the trope where there's three members of this team, and two of them, they just start fighting metal and sculpture. 2/3 of the super team known as the nightclub. They just attack this elephant guy because he did take this something from the minister who was in the previous story. I think he was in Garbage Man specifically, but of course they're the same universe. And there is, then he comes back with the line, "Only a coward attacks a warrior from behind." So I like how Aaron uses a character to call out unheroic behavior from his heroes here. And so most of it is this battle, and then which has good artwork throughout, good action. It's easy to follow the progression, good pacing, and then finally the third member of the team shows up, and he's the voice of reason, restores order. He takes a non-violent approach, and it goes into the new elephant character's backstory, and they end up calling him Trunk. It's kind of amusing how that goes about, and that's the story. It's about how he ends up joining the team, and this one other character, Aeon Chance. I don't know if this is. It feels like it's his introduction. I don't know if he's been in another story. So that's like kind of like say a Watcher character. It looks like some more of a immortal, godlike type character in this universe. And so that's the gist of that story. It's an introduction of the character, and I think it's neat how I like being able to have the comics going over the several different stories that Aaron's telling, and I hope he either keeps doing it that way where all the stories progress in all the books, or otherwise, if he has, say, the nightclub, if there's a future comic of them continuing from here, I hope he can insert this part into that. So it's not, so say if you're a nightclub fan, then you're just getting the nightclub books, and this Trump character shows up and you don't know where he came from, then you feel like you have to collect all of them for fear of missing out what might have happened in another one that could affect this story. And it could be a good marketing tool like mainstream comics use, though I personally prefer not having to go and check out like every item in order to be able to keep up on a story. And then the next story is a Garbage Man story. Who in the last book he met the nightclub, and this is him going off. And I think this might have been my favorite story in the book. Now, Nightclub was colored by Kelly Shannon, and Garbage Man was colored by Dan Loss. Kelly Shannon's feels like has more like brighter colors for this story, which is good for the feel of it, the like classic superhero type feel, and whereas like Garbage Man is more of a horror type story. And I did a review on Garbage Man earlier too. I didn't put the link in the description, but it's in my comic review playlist. It might be in the link to the Wraith of God Part 1. So yeah, there's some. Again, this is good art. I won't show it here because not all of it. At least some of it might be a little too much for some of my viewers if they might not care for it. But you can see like Dan Lawless's coloring here is more kind of like gloomy and dark, and it tells an interesting story with this character, as I recall, and it ties into Garbage Man's origin. Now this one, I think, because it ends up introducing like that character becomes like the major villain of this story, and this story feels like it could be like a side one where it wouldn't impact the rest of the storyline if the other Garbage Mans were separate, except at the end. And this is another one that has like good action and good pacing by Aaron. It's like in his other ones in Nightclub. And then at the very end, spoiler, this also puts in that Aeon character, if I'm pronouncing that right. And so it looks like this is going to play a part in another comic, another story along the line. So it'll be interesting to see then if at some point I'm sure it'll tie in with Nightclub. And then there was another story as I think this was last one. This was Kit Carter's story. Yeah, it looks like it. Yep. And so this one was from I'll read it here. Kit Carter Galactic Ranger was originally created to be an online weekly comic strip, similar to the old Sunday newspaper strips of yesteryear. The story presented here is the first 14 weekly episodes of the comic strip in print for the very first time. And so, and you can really tell, like each page feels like its own self-contained story and part of the overall arc. And now this story is more of a comedy, as like Wraith of God and Garbage Man were more like horror stories. Nightclub was more like your typical superhero one. This has this wisecracking alien chimp, and Kit Carter herself doesn't really feel like what they call a straight man. Like she seems to be more in on the jokes as well. And like Evan, there doesn't really seem, even the bad guy doesn't be a straight man. It's kind of like it's like a completely kind of wacky, though it's not like overly cartoony, say like Looney Tunes or anything. everything feels like it could, like physics-wise, could happen in a regular comic book world. But yeah, just the way everyone acts is kind of goofy. Now, personally, this wouldn't be. This is probably my least favorite of the stories, just because I do like humor in superhero stories and whatnot, but this one's like, it's like a comedy first, as opposed to like being a superhero story first, or an action adventure first. This feels like comedy first, then action adventure second, and I think it's pretty good humor. I thought some of it was pretty amusing. I don't think I ever like laughed out loud or anything like that, but yeah, I believe Aaron now has his current campaign is Kickstarter. I haven't been able to. I've been catching the Graybeard videos, but I don't recall watching at the same time where he's talking about his current campaigns. So yeah, it depends on time and finances and everything, whether I'll back those. Like I've currently backed the next Cyberfrog books. Then I've backed John Delarose's book, Elasmat, and the Quas. So I'm looking forward to those. I might have to see if I can find something in the meantime, because I'm all caught up in my reading. There's a few other books I read even longer ago that I'd like to review, but I'll see if I get around to those. But yeah, I think even though Garbage Man is probably my favorite story in here, I think the overall my favorite arc is the Wraith, because he's more unique. That's what I like about, like, the nightclub feels more like a generic, not, I don't know if that's the right word, because that's usually looked as negative, but it's like your usual superhero type story. Whereas like the Wraith, like Cyberfrog, say like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, those feel to me more unique than just the superheroes are either humans or aliens or whatever with superpowers. So I think I might watch out for the Wraith of God. Hopefully there will be other stories included in that one. I also like how Aaron, he on his last at his end, in the last pages, he puts in like plans for what they're planning on next, and mentioning that it depends on backer interest what all they will do yet. So I definitely recommend this, especially if you got the first Wraith of God, which I liked even more. But I think that this is a really good follow-up book to get the whole story. So yep, it's definitely recommend for me. And yeah, that's all. Short stream, short video. So please, if you like this, click the like button. Please subscribe and check out my other videos. And thanks for watching.